Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Alice Mike's podcast. It's a new Music Friday for May 7th, 2021. Hope everybody's doing great. Thank you to everybody that is listening from wherever you're listening from. Thank you so much for listening to Alice Mike's podcast from all the way from the West Coast to the East Coast, from north to south, and everywhere in between. Thank you so much for listening, and hopefully you enjoy this episode. So today, I want to apologize if there's any background noise. Somehow there's construction either in my house or neighbors, so we hear some drilling and some stuff. Well, sorry. I'm gonna try to do the best to take out the background noise, but it is what it is. So yeah, but just saying thanks for everybody for listening. So today we have there's not a lot of release. Well, there are releases of music today or for this Friday, but I don't have a lot of recommendations. I'm only gonna recommend songs that I like. I don't want to talk about anything bad about anybody or I don't like. That's just not what I do. So there's only a couple new songs that came out today, and then I did some, I would say digging or so, try to find new music that I wouldn't say was released this Friday, but they're available on Spotify. That I either haven't listened to or want to go ahead and recommend. And then, of course, all the music that I recommend, they get uploaded to Alice Mike's playlist on Spotify. That's the name, Alice Mike's playlist on Spotify. So all the music that I recommend, I put it in there, so you guys could enjoy. Of course, you guys could enjoy the music and don't have to be looking for it. Well, if you listen to other platforms, then yeah, but yeah, just Al Mike's playlist on Spotify. And I provide all the links on Facebook and Instagram. Same name, Alice Mike's podcast. The links for the playlist and to listen to this podcast are all there. So again, thank you everybody who's listening, and whoever's spreading out the word. Thank you so much. So I'm gonna start off with the first song. So it's Corazón Espinado. Luis Ángel el Flaco sings it with this grupo called Norteño 4.5. And they sing Corazón Espinado, which is a song, I believe that's by Maná. And I think Maná and Santana played it together as well. Sounds cool. Check it out. Yeah, and then the Norteño 4.5 kind of blends in Norteño with banda, but not like a full banda. They have elements of banda in there. Quite a unique group. They're from Guadalajara. So you could check out their stuff, Norteño 4.5. And but yeah, they have this new single, Corazón Espinado, with Luis Ángel el Flaco, and Norteño 4.5, Corazón Espinado. Go and check it out, guys. Good song. Recording's pretty good, and it's a good festive song. It's not a straight out, not a norteño, not a cumbia, not a zapateado, but it's definitely a good Latin sound out of it. And then so I haven't heard this group, the Norteño 4.5, and then so they have like around three CDs or so. They have one in vivo. The one in vivo, they have duets with people, but the one that kind of stood out to me is El Noa Noa, of course, by Juan Gabriel. So check it out. It's funny because I was a funny story about the El Noa Noa. One time I was singing karaoke with it. I was singing with my girlfriend, and El Noa Noa, but everybody knows the chorus of it. Noa 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 Noa. Yeah, everybody knows that part. If you at grew up at least con músicas como dice para trapear that your mom que ponían in the morning. So So yeah, we're trying to see karaoke, and I don't know any of the beginning. Da da da, bailar, and I'm like, I don't know how this song goes until the no, I know, and then the chorus starts, and I'm like, hey, I know this part. So make sure you know how the full song goes before you start karaoke. Just, just letting you know. All right, and then they have another song, Norteño 4.5 with Nael Carrillo. It's called Pase y Pase, and it's en vivo. Sounds pretty good. It's one of the classic songs, Voy a pasar y pasar. Días por tu casa. So I know Los Dinámicos del Norte played it. I mean, it's one of the classic songs of Norteño, definitely. And then we have, so from there, I'm going to jump into Marco Antonio Solis. He has a new single coming with mariachi. Se veía venir. Great composer, Marco Antonio Solis. Definitely, a lot of people are getting songs and haciéndole either tu banda, norteño, La Séptima Banda was probably, they didn't say get famous, but they definitely got one of his songs and hit it pretty big. Con se está muriendo mi alma. Yeah, and then a lot of people play tu cárcel, which is a classic of him, Marco Antonio Solis. So yeah, just it's a mariachi song. Se veía venir, a new single. Check it out. And then I was when I was looking for newer stuff, I saw that I haven't heard or actually got suggested to me. It's this grupo called La Original 614. It's a grupo, they call it bandeño because it consists of an accordion, tuba, los contrabajos, but then it has, instead of a drum set, it has a tarola and a tambora. So they call it bandeño. So they have the CD called Areñales 2020. The two songs that I liked is Y Te Vi Con Él y Pacas de Aquilo. We are covers. And then they have una cumbia. If I butcher the name, I'm sorry. It's called El Cironji. Yeah, I think so. El Cironji. So, either way, it's going to be on Alice Mike's playlist on Spotify. Check it out. It sounds pretty cool. Yeah, but it's you guys haven't heard that genre or that type of grupo called bandeño. Check it out. It's a little different, not too different, but you could it's mostly accordion based and it sounds pretty good. Yeah, so yeah, just check it out. And then I have this other one is Banda Fortuna, featuring La Casta, which is a conjunto norteño, and then they have the name of the CD is Palomazo con La Casta. En vivo. The two songs I like is La Novia del Pajarillo, which is, a great cover. A lot of people play that song. And then they play La Avenida Bendita, which is a song by Marco Antonio Solis. He sang with mariachi, quite famous. So yeah, those two songs, La Avenida Bendita y La Novia del Pajarillo, La Banda Fortuna and La Casta. And then from there, we go to Karin Leon. Came out with the whole CD, new album. Stop saying CD because nobody buys CDs. They're albums. Or new release of music. Talking about CDs, man. It's I'll come back to Karin Leon, but so we're my parents are car shopping, so I'm trying to help them out. With look at deals and what they're comfortable with, because a lot of the newer cars, I mean they have a lot of technology, and they don't feel comfortable sometimes with all this technology and buttons. And I mean, I've been trying to talk them into maybe getting a hybrid or something like that, because gas mileage, and they don't need a big car anymore. But dad wants a big car. I'm like, hey, that gasoline is getting getting more and more expensive, and it's not like your family's growing. I mean, it is growing, but they're not gonna have any more kids. So hey, are you gonna be adopting more doggies or something, or other from that. So what I'm going with that with technology is that cars just don't come with the CD players anymore. And it's something my dad doesn't keep asking, but kind of references like, oh look, this doesn't have a CD player. I'm like, nah, dad, they just everything's either through Bluetooth or you connect it to Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, and just hard media that's it's disappearing. The only hard media that I might think of is I've heard of people selling like in swap meets like a bunch of music on a USB drive, and that might work because a lot of new cars have the USB input. But other from that, I mean, like there's no more getting buying a physical CD and putting it in a car. And just try to find a CD player at the store. I mean, you find little jukeboxes, but you have to either rely on a PlayStation or Xbox will you have one, or to create a CD, or the kids don't even know what burning a CD is. They actually think we actually burn it, actually put it on fire. So, and it's something. People my age. I mean, we knew, that, the limitations of only putting 30 tracks on a CD. If that, or 25, 24, and getting a good brand of blank CDs. I remember that, so they could last you longer than some other ones, than the cheap ones, and quality wise. And then when you were able to make the MP3 CDs and put a bunch of music. Man, those were definitely the times. Yeah, but yeah. I mean, it's we're in a habit. Oh, when are there new CDs coming out? Or at least that's how I speak. But really, CDs are not going to come out anytime soon. I mean, I think there's still gonna limit a market for it, but it's going the way of the cassette. The cassette's definitely dying. They died. I mean, there's just some, in the either in the thrift stores or swap meets, you'll find cassette players, but maybe they'll have a comeback like records are. Okay, records are. I don't say they're completely making a comeback, but there's definitely a small market. There's a market for people collecting records, and they call people call themselves audiophiles. That they have their turntables, their wooden speakers, or with with separate amplifier, and it's so expensive hobby. I'll tell you that. I was looking into it, and I was like, hey, it's like just like around $1,000 just to start it off. I was like, you know what? I'll wait. I'll wait. But I'm definitely interested, on hearing how the records sound, and I've heard some, and I like the warmness, how warm it sounds. It's kind of interesting that sometimes the imperfections is what makes it sound really good. And then the thing is that you can only play your record so many times, because after that it gets scratched, I believe. So you can't just put it over and over again, or just listen to it over, because then you're gonna damage the record, or it's not gonna sound the same anymore, and the quality. So there's a lot to it. That's from my limited amount of time that I've been researching records and stuff like that. So, yeah. So I don't say that's my rant on CDs, but yeah, just a observation that I had, and from there we're gonna jump back to talking about Karin Leon's new CD. Oh, there you go again. Not a CD, new album. There you go. Karin Leon's new album called Inédito. And it has a lot of tracks. I believe it has around like 18 tracks or so. It's quite extensive in the different types of music. The two songs that I like is called La Santa y Si Soy Fiel. Definitely ballad heavy album, but if you want to check it out, listen to it. It's definitely not the style playing. It's well, the style of songs. I would say they're more. I don't say traditional, but it gives me like I don't know. It just I wouldn't say a Valentin vibe. Definitely not. You know, Valentin Elizalde, not that vibe, but kind of that era, the era of the ballads and stuff like that, and so yeah, just go to check it out. I mean, recording sounds pretty good. Yeah, check out the album, and now just these two songs is the one I recommend. Si soy fiel y La Santa. Check it out. All right, then again, we gonna go to this guy named Israel Navares, El Tillo. You guys don't know who he is. He was the lead singer of Banda Los Tierra Blanca, the one they used to sing Juro por Dios. What is it? No me vuelvo nada a morar. Yeah, those two hits when Banda Tierra Blanca. I mean, talking about 2001, 2002, I think. So I mean, this guy's been active, but he has this single called "Mujer Mujer," which is a cover, but he sings with El Mimoso in Carlos Sarabia, where they both used to be in La Recodo. The album is called No Hay Pedo. But yeah, he sings Mujer Mujer. It's Israel Navares El Tillo with El Mimoso y Carlos Sarabia. All three of them have awesome voices. El Tillo, I mean, man, he has awesome voice too. El Mimoso, pues también. But yeah, go and check it out. I mean, it's a good song. And then from here, it is Chely Madrid. She has a new album called Canciones de Oro Volumen 2. The first one, Canciones de Oro Volumen 1, completely recommend it. They're all covers, but the banda sounds good. Yeah, I love the way she sings. On the first one, Canciones de Oro en vivo, it has Cariñito de mi vida, El Desquite, Hace un año, like even the Selena song No me queda más, Ojitos verdes, Un mundo raro, Ánimas que no amanezca y La chancla. I mean, it's full of covers. There's more songs to it. Even Tú lo decidiste. It was a song I think Ana Gabriel sings it. So yeah, definitely that. Well, that's the first one. That got released like 2 years ago. But then she has this new new album, Canciones de Oro Volumen 2, and it has banda en conjunto. It's en vivo. It has Besos de Papel, Te traigo estas flores, Adiós Madre Querida, Tu nuevo cariñito, Chuchuluqueando, Corazón de Oropel, A Rumbo al Sur, Caray, which is by Juan Gabriel. Even has Catarino y los Rurales. Al que te vas, Dos amores en mi vida, Extraña mañanera, De los tiranos, Leña de Pirul, which is one of the classic cover songs. Tengo miedo, I believe Ramón Ayala or Relámpagos. I think it's Relámpagos del Norte. Yeah, so I mean, great album. Yeah, it's just covers, pero she sings them great. Banda sounds good, even though it's live, and conjunto doesn't sound bad either. Yeah, so go to I'm again all these songs are gonna be uploaded to Alice Mike's playlist on Spotify. It was so so that's gonna end my recommendations for this week for the new releases for April. That's it. April, May 7th. I think I said April. May 7th. Okay. So, this week was El Cinco de Mayo, the celebration of the La Batalla de Puebla, the Battle of Puebla, which, the Mexican army won the battle against the much larger and I guess the best army in the world back in that time. They beat the French in that battle. That's what Cinco de Mayo is. Now, everybody's, not everybody, but a lot a lot of people know that they're definitely celebrated more here in the United States than in Mexico, and because of advertisement, and I guess I've been hearing that beer companies and in the '80s started to advertise about el Cinco de Mayo and about beer and stuff like that, and I mean there's it gets commercialized, and that's the United States is good for commercialize stuff, and it's awesome. I definitely don't mind it when hey, people go eating Mexican food and Cinco de Mayo. That's fine. Uh, I mean, support your local business. Or they go to carniceria, they go to supermarket, and they make tacos, or they. And I'm totally fine with that, and some people want to sell. They celebrate it here in the United States as it was really a huge deal. Everybody's entitled to celebrate it however they want. Here in my town, people put Mexican flags in their trucks, and we're cruising down Broadway. Just hopefully hopefully they know what they're celebrating. Hopefully they don't think it's Mexican Independence Day. I guess they're prideful because Mexico won a battle. Even though they lost that war, but hey, they're prideful about it. That's great. But the only thing that I'll say just kind of bothers me a little bit. So when I see that like people on the media, they they put the sombrero on, and then they pretend to take tequila shots and kind of Cinco de Mayo, and they put the sombrero on, and it's like do you guys think that's cultural appropriation, or should we not just be bothered by it? Should we just embrace it? You're like, oh, we don't want to be classified all as a Mexican American, or a Mexican, just as a a person that wears a sombrero and a poncho and take shots. And we're like, oh, we don't want to be associated that way. But then just look at your go through your TikTok or Instagram, and what do people post to themselves doing than taking shots and drinking beer? So I mean, there's both sides of it. It's just I'm just putting a thought out there, just for people to think about it. About this. I don't know if you call it a holiday, but this date, and just me as a Mexican American. What does it represent? As much as we want to be prideful about our culture, or where we come from and stuff like that, but it's at least good to know where we know what one celebrates and why they're celebrating it. I just hope everybody had a good, Cinco de Mayo. Just hope everybody had a great week. So yeah, I just got put in my little, what they call it, little soapbox. It's not really too rant about it. It's the, I think about it as like, the St. Patrick's Day. Do they celebrate it? In Ireland. Yeah. So in Ireland, St. Patrick's Day. Do they look at us, like when the people that celebrate St. Patrick's? I mean, do they get, do they celebrate it over there as well? Then do they celebrate over here? People dressing up in green and whatever stuff like that. So just a train of thought. Just the mere fact that that it's celebrated more. The Cinco de Mayo is celebrated more in a other country than the original country. Celebrate more in the United States than in Mexico. In Mexico, and an interesting event, or it's interesting. All right, and ended up like that. So yeah, so everybody, thank you for listening to Alice Mike's podcast. This new music for May the 7th, 2021. Hopefully you enjoy all the recommendations, and remember, don't forget to like and follow and share Alice Mike's podcast on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you for everybody that's listening, of course. Thank you for all the support, and thank you for all the encouragement. Thank you for all the encouragement to JC Herrera Trucking, CA Truck Lines, Smart Stop Insurance, and Unique Janitorial. Thank you for all the encouragement. And thank you for everybody that's listening. Hey, if you have any messages, want to give any shout outs, message me on Instagram, Alice Mike's Podcast, and on Facebook as well, Alice Mike's Podcast. And hope to hear from you guys any recommendations, or just want to say hi or want to shout out to anybody, or more than willing. Thank you everybody so much for listening, and like I always ended off with, don't forget to smile. If nobody smiles, go in front of the mirror and smile. Somebody's going to be smiling back at you. Have a good one. Have a great weekend. And if you're listening during the week of Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. All right, everybody. Take care. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.